If you wait to be conformed and validated by others, you are killing yourself from the soul. You're killing yourself from the inside out. Hey family, this is Reginald Martin of Kametaphysics, Sacred Alchemy, where ancient wisdom becomes modern awakening. And I want to talk to you today about an attitude that I see that's so prevalent in a lot of circles today. And that's the idea that you need to be affirmed or confirmed, validated by others, okay? And I'll say this, and again, family, I'm looking at some notes here before I go walking, but you know, if you need peer review permission to think for yourself, you know, you're not educated, you're domesticated, plain and simple, all right? If you believe your insight isn't valid unless it's approved by institutions built to control thought, then you've mistaken conformity for intelligence. And here's the truth, family. Every world-changing idea began as heresy. Now, I say that because, you know, I did this video, and his brother wrote a comment under the video saying that, you know, he didn't understand it, you know, and this was his idea, or this is what he said to me. I'm just reading his comment. He says, "This doesn't make sense. The Bible has ancient, non-African, Greco-Roman, and African influences to support the beliefs of cultures in the Mediterranean and Southwest Asia. To understand this book requires teachings from peer-reviewed, credible experts in the academic field. To do otherwise makes it easy to misunderstand and what each individual is writing. To add, you would have to include all of the writings associated with the Hebrew and Christian topics that involves non-canon and canonized literature. The point I want to stress is not to look for yourselves where you are not included. Pursue the wisdom of your ancestors. Study Dr. John Henrik Clarke." Now, I want to understand, I'm not responding necessarily to the individual, but I'm responding to the mentality. But he represents a huge mentality that I see in so many circles. Again, you know, especially in the debate circles, where they only use the ideas presented by somebody in somebody's book, or it's been peer reviewed, or whatever. In other words, it's been confirmed by other people. And family, I get that, and I can agree with it to a certain extent. But then there is some point where you have to have the guts to think for your damn self, okay? That's where I'm coming from with this. So this is a belief from this person that external validation is more powerful than inner knowing, okay? Because the video that I did, it really is something that I have been doing for a while, and a lot of it is just based on my intuition and being able to connect the dots. You know, I just think differently in some kind of way, you know? And I want to say this to, you know, to family, that you have genius within you. That if you're waiting for somebody to validate it for you, or you question your genius because, you know, it's not been validated by, you know, society or whatever, there is no way you can be a revolutionary. You know, revolutionaries are revolutionary because they did not conform to what society believed. Okay. One of my favorites is Malcolm X. You know, if you haven't read the autobiography of Malcolm X, man, that book was so powerful for me. It was, I read it when I was young, you know, just before I went to college. That book absolutely changed my life. I would not have graduated from the college that I went to, because I went to a small Southern Baptist college. I would not have graduated without the knowledge and the inspiration that I gained from him, from a revolutionary, okay? It is so incumbent upon you to not wait to be validated. Now, that doesn't mean that people cannot question you. That doesn't mean that you cannot, develop your ideas further, that they might need some work as you go along. I get that. And I have lived that. Okay. But there is some point that when you just know. And you don't have to wait for people to validate you. You don't have to wait for the consensus. Okay. That's what this brother is asking you to do. Dude, you need to get the consensus before you can even say this. Man, please. But what I understand about this, what his comment is, I understand that he's not necessarily rejecting my idea, that he's rejecting the comfort of thinking without a net. He's not used to thinking for himself. And that's what a lot of people, they're just not used to thinking for themselves. The Bible taught us, lean not on your own understanding. Okay, we were put in a frame where thinking for yourself, it was not something that was looked at highly, or you needed to conform with what the preachers and the clergy, the institution had taught you. So I get this, I understand it, and I understand how a lot of what I do can challenge people. I get that. But family, we cannot let that stop us. There are some changes that need to be made in our society in a lot of different ways, and we can't wait for permission. There is no point in any history that the people who revolutionized society waited for the permission from society. Think about it. I mean, think about any time. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, these people did not wait for their peers. If they waited for their peers, shit, they would still be sitting in the pulpit. So please, this is not about getting peer reviewed, but man, but you got to think that from the churches, to all the institutions, we were conditioned to obey, not originate, family. So in academia, peer review just simply means gatekeeping genius. That's all it does. In other words, dude, you don't step out of line. Wait for us to give you the okay that what you said is okay. But again, everything that has ever been peer reviewed started out as heresy first. Somebody had to say, wait a minute, guys, this is something different. Or wait a minute, this is something different. Okay, here's what I'm putting forth. Then the peers will come around and accept what they said. Okay, then it's peer reviewed and everybody go, oh yeah, man, you're right, that's good. But that's after the heresy first, after they questioned and challenged the person first. Family, that's just normal. But if you are that revolutionary and you fear being out front first, family, we will never get to see your genius. Society will never get to change from what you can bring forth. You cannot wait for your peers to review you. If you think something, if you have a revolutionary thought, because sometimes our inner knowing, we just know what is, how something should be. We have this intuitive feel about stuff, that we just know before everybody else does. That's your genius. And people do not always accept genius out the box. They just don't do it. So you can't wait to be peer reviewed. And I think about this brother's comment, and he says, wait on Dr. John Henrik Clarke, to put forth his stuff. Who was John Henrik Clarke's peers? John Henrik Clarke was not accepted by society. Theophilo Benga was not accepted by society. His ideas were not peer-reviewed. Sheikh Anta Diop was not accepted by society. What if he waited for peer review? So they put forth a lot of ideas that stepped outside of what society accepted. So for me, this brother is saying to me, dude, don't do this unless you first get the okay. Fuck that. I got more years behind me than I do ahead of me. I'm going to live it. And I'm going to live it on my terms. And family, this is what I say. If you don't understand something, research it. Fine, great. You're supposed to do that. But this is what I know from the things that I do and from the things that I put forth, is that I understand that what I do and what I have put forth, I understand through just the success that people have had with it. I know that it's valid. So it's been validated in so many ways, and I recognize that, So what he's saying here again is he wants to invalidate what I'm doing because he doesn't agree with it, Family, no, you cannot do that. You have genius. I'm telling you, I know that there are people that are watching this video that have genius in them and are afraid of what others might think, and they do not say anything. They keep it inside them. Family, you're depriving us. You're depriving us of your genius. You cannot do that. Please get the courage to say what you need to say and put it out there for us. Okay? You got to, or else we stay stuck in society. We stay stuck in our religious frames. We need your genius. We need you to speak up. Please. So one of the other things about that video is what I wanted to put forth on that video. Ancient knowledge is encoded. Okay, what we got as ancient knowledge in the Bible is actually encoded, but we were taught it a certain way. Okay, but the deeper knowledge of it is something that can be transformational when you understand the codes. And I really gave you a broad overview of a framework that goes a lot deeper, family. But understand that I know, and I have studied this for years, and I know what is written in the Bible has other information encoded underneath. I have studied it over and over. Now, I haven't broken down every story, but I've broken down enough to know the patterns, okay? And that's what I gave you, is I showed you a pattern of what was of the ancient teachings. I showed you a pattern that comes from ancient teachings, okay? The other thing that I know about this idea of, waiting for people or waiting for books is that the ancients, a lot of the ancient knowledge was not written down in a book, family. It wasn't actually... especially in the mystery schools, a lot of the deepest knowledge was forbidden to be written down. And it wasn't because they were hiding the knowledge or trying to hide the knowledge. They just understood that sometimes our inner knowledge is if we accept things from other people without filtering things through our inner knowledge, then we're accepting their spiritual experience, okay? And that's really what if you think about the Bible and you think about religion, what we're doing is we're accepting the spiritual experience of other men from 2,000 years ago. And we're trying to stuff everything that we do, even in today's society that has changed thousands and thousands of times since then. We're still trying to stuff it into the rules of what we believe that the Bible was trying to tell us. Even though the Bible has been mistranslated, the way that the exoteric knowledge that we've been taught, has been proven to be confusing, it's distorted, it puts us in conflict, it does all kinds of things to us. Let me put my deal down here, family. So, man, that sun is like beaming. But we know the pain that we have to deal with when we have to access our knowledge from the dogmatic perspectives, okay? It causes so much conflict. But a lot of times what happens is we are so ingrained in that conflict, and we're so ingrained in the conformed thought processes that we don't even see it as conflict, as inner conflict. We have accepted the peer reviewed way of being, and we can't even question it. We can't even recognize when it is causing us pain. That's the type of problems that this type of thinking brings from the person who wrote this comment. Wait on your peers. That's what we have done in Christianity for years, is we waited on everybody else to tell us when everything is okay. We waited on everybody else to define us by their standards. It's all from external validation or invalidation. Okay? You're a sinner. You're broken. You're all family. That's all external stuff. And it causes us issues that we don't even realize is an issue until we step out of that conformed way of thinking. Okay? So that's really the idea, family, is we can't wait on everybody else to validate what we know inside us. What we can't wait for that soul level experience of who we are. And when we put it forth, we can't wait for it to be validated by somebody else. So with the Kemetic knowledge and Kametaphysics, family, it's you're not waiting to be validated. You are living to be aligned. And again, it is from an inner aspect. It is from your own inner compass. And family, that is going to be the most powerful way that you're going to be able to move through society moving forward. Okay? You validate your own inner experience, and you live through your compass. Okay, that doesn't mean that there aren't certain rules and laws in society. I'm not saying I'm not advocating for anarchy or anything like that. I'm just saying that living through conformity is going to be a huge issue for you. Okay. So, I've grown to a point to where I'm able to put my ideas out, in public. And, I understand that people are not going to agree with them. And that has taken some growth on my part, to be able to do that. It might take some on your part, but start doing it. Start putting that stuff out, start putting your genius out there. So you have to do that. And this is one of the other things I would say, just about the book knowledge, and living through the print media. And again, I am not dismissing knowledge. I'm not dismissing books. I absolutely love to read. But in this day and age, family, things move so fast. By the time the book is brought to the public, if it's done through the traditional ways, through publishers and all of that, family, that knowledge is already outdated, especially if it's about technological knowledge. In 6 months, a lot of the stuff, a lot of technology has already changed to where the stuff in the book, it's invalidated, it's irrelevant. So if you wait on book knowledge, or if you only get your knowledge from book knowledge, you're usually going to be behind the curve. Okay? So there are other people that are going to be out there. There are other people that are going to be on YouTube or, Instagram, whatever the platforms might be. There are many people who are sharing their genius, and they're getting it out fast. And it is revolutionizing so many things, okay? And that's why things are happening so fast, is that social media allows knowledge to get to the public a lot quicker than it ever has been before. So people who do share their genius, people who do allow themselves, to put that knowledge out there, family, it's out there fast, and it's out there for you to get it, okay? So if you're one of those people, family, you've got to do that. Okay, you've got to release your genius and not wait. So conformity does not just kill creativity. It silences the soul. Societies, religions, and even revolutions were all sparked by people who refused to wait. So the revolutionaries didn't ask for permission to think. They created systems that the world quotes later. Institutionalized thinking punishes intuitive knowledge. That's why the people who move and move out front are the ones who are maligned early, okay? They are the heretics. And you got to understand, every idea that is now peer-reviewed was at some point heretical to society or to the establishment that idea challenges. Every one of them. It's just natural and normal. So family, this is the deal. Are you a repeater of consensus or a revealer of consciousness? That's where it has to go. That's the question that you have to ask. This dude is asking me to be a repeater of consensus. Psh, please. Your inner knowing is not less valid because it's not peer-reviewed. Because everybody doesn't agree with it does not mean that it's not valid. Your boldness to speak what has not been validated is what stamps you as a leader, not waiting for conformity. You are the peer, you are the review, and you are the proof, family. That's what you have to recognize. When you think differently, when you think outside the box, it is you, your inner you, that is going to be the review, the revealer, and the proof. In many cases, okay? Now, if this stirred something in you, it means most likely you have something that you've been waiting to say, that you need to say, that's something that is in you that you see in a way that maybe nobody else does. Family, it's time for you to get it out there, okay? It's time for you to do it. Stop waiting to be accepted before you put it out there. Stop waiting for someone to confirm what you already know deep in your soul, what you already know deep in your bones. You just know. You don't know why, you just know. Stop waiting and hoping that somebody's going to say, yeah, it's okay if you put that out. Yeah, it'll be all right. Yeah, I agree with you. Stop. You got something that you can put out and that can help us. Put your knowledge out. The world doesn't need more citations. It needs more clarity. And your gift can help bring that. So step into your genius and let the world catch up. That's the power that you have. Step into your genius and let the world catch up. That's where it's at, family. So don't wait for somebody to accept your genius. It may never happen, but you have to be bold enough to put it out there. You have to be bold enough to say it. You have to be bold enough to say what other people will not. All right, family? Hey, y'all have an amazing day. I'm going to go ahead and get on my walk. Reginald Martin, out.